And I've been saying it, but as my granddaughter would say, excited! So excited, Grandma! I am so excited. I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited to be a woman. I'm excited for Great Divine Flow, and I'm excited for our healing. One breath at a time, one class at a time, one situation at a time. Every time we do anything with awareness, we're making a huge difference, not only in our lives, but in the world. So we're going to work with our voice current. And we're going to work with it in several different ways. Part of it's going to be sound and frequency. You know, like you can say something really fucked up, but if you've got a really good tone, it kind of works still. It's a bizarre thing, you know? But beyond that, being authentic and real with what we say, and remembering to say things and be clear. And I ended up going a totally different way with the video we're going to look at. And it's not going to be about so much voice current as women being friends and remembering to say to each other, remembering to say I love you, remembering to say, hey, I think you really can do this. Sometimes we often think they already know. And I know that with my mom and I, we definitely had that. My mother she's gone since 2006. My mother was the vice president of a bank in the 70s. That's freaking... My mother did not graduate from high school. She lied. And these days she would have gotten caught. But she just had these two kids, and she knew she had to take care of us, and she knew she was smart. And when I watched, does anyone ever watch Mad Men? Yeah. Okay, I knew that was a lot. My mom getting patted on the ass and smoking at her desk. But I also know, I know from talking to my mom, no one got a little piece of that. But she always made them think that they might. You know, you just might if you give me the promotion, because she had to. That really was where she was. And she was like, God damn it, I'm going to use this. And my mom looked like Elizabeth Taylor. She had those violet eyes. She had eyes like you, but with green. She was just like, oh my God. My mom was so beautiful. And she was clever. So she's doing her thing, and being raised by a woman like that, one of the things I've really learned from Guru Ratana is probably about a little, like maybe 8 or 10 years younger than my mom. She's 73. I think my mom would be like 83 by now, or 82. But one of the things that Ratana talks about for us, and we're breaking out of it, the women now, is that when my mom really got her rights, and liberated, she also got desexed. She got her womanhood ripped out of her hands. Oh yeah, you are as good as a man. Now go be one. So now she got to be a man and a woman, and she did. Most of my childhood till I was like 8.5 was my mom and my brother. And even when she married my adopted dad, he wasn't really a man. No, I'm not saying that because he wasn't, because my mom didn't let him be. Because she was so used to running the show, she didn't trust anybody to, And it turns out that after they got together, after looking underneath the covers, he owed like $10,000 to the feds because he was self-employed and didn't know what the fuck he was doing. And, for my mom, she was such a finance, like that was almost a deal breaker, She told me, she goes, that was almost like, no. But she also knew, all right, I'm smart enough to fix it, so fuck it. Let's just do this. But so what I remember, the point of all that, what I remember is watching my mom be so exhausted. By the time she was in her late 40s and 50s, she was so fucking tired. I remember actually seeing it when I was really young. I remember at Christmas when I was like 7, and I was really into Baby Alive. And so Mom got me the stroller for Baby Alive and the high chair for Baby Alive. And you have to put that shit together. And I imagine back then it was harder than it is now. Because right now I feel like it's the dollhouse Kriya or something. I did this one thing for my granddaughter, and I said, never again, I'm paying the whatever price you have to get them to do it. 'Cause this is awful, awful. So one Christmas I had these things that all had to be put together. And it's my mom and this Santa Claus and my brother, right? And I remember just seeing her And my mom never drank or smoked that I saw. I mean, she smoked, but she never drank. She was just exhausted. She literally passed out after the presents because she was so tired. And I remember even as a little girl thinking, sad. I was sad. You know, I did want the dollhouse. But, you know, I mean, in my little girl mind, if I could have what I really wanted, I wanted my mom. And somehow, being Superwoman took her away from me. And I knew it then. So as I grew up, even though I'm definitely raised by this lioness, I remember when I was first with Tony, and I was kind of being my mom. You don't get to have the money because you're probably stupid. And I'm like, I'm doing everything, and I'm like so unhappy. And then like 2 months into the relationship, it turns out I'm worse with money than he ever was. And there's all this other, so I just stopped, like, time out. Here's all the cash. Tell me what I can have. I don't want that responsibility. I'm going to do this, and this all is yours. And he just thanked God. I went, okay, you know? And it was the beginning of sharing and like looking at people in my life, starting with the man I was with. What are you good at? What am I good at? And I don't have to be good at everything. You know? So like take my hands off the wheel there. And what does that do? It gives you more energy. And so even in the Kundalini, when I still in my mind remember the day that, you know, Mahan Raj Singh said, I want to be a Kundalini teacher. It's like at the core of my being, I'm so my mom. The only thing I thought is, oh my God, I know how much that costs. No, you don't need to be one. I was like, nah, let's skip. But he's like, no, you know, we were at Sanattam Kaur, and he had this experience. He's like, babe, I need to be a Kundalini teacher. And I'm like, I did. I really go, you know, you just became a Hatha teacher. I think you're good. You know, I don't know. You know, I was really like, I seemed really authentic. You know, I really seemed real. And he's just like, knows me well enough to go, yeah, talk to the hand. I'm going to do it. And he's an Aries. Like, I would say I'm going to be a Kundalini teacher. In 3 years, I'll sign up. That's how I do it, right? He's fucking signing up tonight. And he did. He went home, he Googled who's the closest. He doesn't even know who these fuckers are. You know, he's like, okay, I'm going. They're next weekend. I'm like, oh my God. Ah! You know? So he does that, and then he starts sitting on the stage with me, and I'll tell you what, I did not like it. I didn't like it. Because he's very a loose cannon, as if I'm not. I never knew what he was going to do. It seemed like he never listened to what the plan was. And I was just like, oh, God. It made me, I was literally heebie-jeebies at first. I was like, you know, and I'd get up here and I would just kind of do it. But then it occurred to me, it made it easier for me. It occurred to me that maybe I would find something if I shared. It occurred to me that if I let someone help me in the thing I love the most, that I'd actually find more of me. And that's what I want to invite all of us into today. That to have this abiding trust in the infinite that helps us connect and trust each other, because God, the way I know God is through you. I mean, I can be dangerous with God alone. You know what I mean? It can be very fantasy made up shit in my sadhana. I mean, I'm not saying it's not real sometimes, but you know, it's different when I hear God through you. It's different when it's real, tangible, and we are building. It's the God of my understanding. It's the God that's linked in my arm in arm with me that's building this life, whether it's my family here at Great Divine Flow or my family of origin. So I want us to breathe into that and to open ourselves up to saying what is real with each other, especially with women. You know, you're going to see this one thing with Oprah that is so beautiful. It's between her and Ayanna Van Zandt. And there's this thing, and I've seen it so many times, and every time I see it, I cry, because I'm so like Oprah, I just think you know. And so Oprah said to her, she goes, Ivana says, I didn't know you appreciated me. I didn't know you knew my talent. I didn't know you loved me. And Oprah says, you know, she's Oprah. She's the queen. You know, you're not going to fuck with Oprah, especially on live TV, and it was. So Oprah says, I'm not going to accept that. How could you even think that? I left the stage for you. I put you up there. I was going to create a show just for you. She's, yeah, but you never told me you liked me or that you loved me. And so part of our voice current is to use it, to state the obvious. Because sometimes they don't know, and I will always think back. My mom was one of those. My mom was an Aquarius like Oprah, and I'm an Aquarius. We're detached, very detached. My mom really never said, "That a good job." She thought it was really important to say, you fucked this up, and this could have been better, and because she loved me. Lucky me. Anyway, so I mean, it's like a standout moment in my life when Treasure was like 8 weeks old, and we went out to lunch. And I'm getting the car seat and everything, and I'm walking in with her, and she just stops and looks at me, and she says, "You are such a good mom." And I'm just like, really? Yay, I'm good at something, And of course now, I mean, thank God it took her a while to pass away because we had lots of deep conversations. And she always thought it was a given how great she thought I was, right? But it wasn't. So there may be friends with you. It may be your child. Sometimes even your pet does not know how much you love them. And I'd rather us oversay it, overdo it, than not do it enough, right? So it's not enough that, hey, I gave you the job. Of course I think you're good at it. It's like, no. Look the person in the eye and say, I'm asking you to do this because I think you are so awesome and so right on point and so creative, and I love you, and thank you for being in my life. Be clear with your voice current because it changes everything. And we are lucky because we get to know this. Part of the work we do in Kundalini is we get to heal and forget what happened. Not forget, we change it. Yogi Bhajan and Hardy Jiwan always quotes him saying this. This is so true. It's trippy and mystical, but here it is. It's never too late to have a good childhood. You're going to just change your sound current around that. Because now at this time in your life, you are the queen of your life. Nobody else. Mama isn't. Your boss isn't. And if you have a king in your life, he's only a king because you told him he was. This is another thing Yogi Bhajan said. And I don't mean to be mean. I am very respectful to Tony. You can ask him. I feed him. And he goes like this. I am his remote, which is really, I hate that, but I am. He's in the bed. "Babe, can you get my phone and coffee?" I'm like, he knows when my sadhana is over. He can feel it. "Babe!" And if he's not close enough to the TV thing, "Babe!" I'm like, "Ah!" But I don't, and I complain like I do now, but I don't stop. I just keep getting the things. Anyways, one of the other things that Yogi Bhajan says, and really own this, he says, if you're really unhappy in your relationship, you have no one to blame but you, which we all kind of know. But this is what he says. It is the woman who chooses the man, never the other way around. And he goes, and I don't care how you think it looks. And I think about it because I had the ad in the paper, and he answered the ad, and then he called me, and then he asked me out. I mean, there's a whole lot of him coming after me. But you know what I'm saying, right, ladies? We look at him, and we decide, you're in. We're the ones that drop the moat on the castle, If we don't drop the drawbridge, he ain't getting in, So our choice is a big energy, right? And then what happens is now it's you can have that king come in and make the castle run better if you made a good choice. That's why we do it, right? All right, so let's get started. We're going to do what is called a diamond kriya, which is it's kind of like the Trinity but different. The diamond is 4 things. It's 4 things together we're going to do. We'll do a nice sound healing, and then we're going to come back and we're going to do 31 minutes of Kirtan Kriya. Yogi Bhajan said if you could only do one meditation, this is it. This is one of the most powerful meditations to stop you in addictions and heartbreak. It also is really good, if you still feel attached to a lover, this is your meditation. It gets that out, it detaches you from the energy and brightens up your aura. We're going to work a lot on that particular issue all by itself in May. We're going to actually do a ritual with a chant and with these tea lights and snuff out the lovers that we don't want attached to us. Snuffed out! No. And you have to do this thing because, I forget how long it is, but a man really does get over having sex with you within 24 hours. It's very quick. And we're we're like something like 42 days. It's not like 40. It's a long amount of time. And then the residue of the psychic connection depends on how much trauma was going on. Because unfortunately, true love does not have the hooking effect that trauma does. And it is what it is, but we can do things and we can change it. And we need to. All these things in Kundalini help us be here in the present more. It's, so, because you know how sometimes you're doing all this work and you feel like, why isn't this working? Or, I feel so good there and it lasts a little while and then all of a sudden I feel this darkness come over. Just understand, you're not doing anything wrong. You just want to look more into this technology and use it to maybe go dig a little deeper into the childhood stuff. Maybe do some work on the mates you've had in your life. Whatever it is, just acknowledge, okay, obviously something's stuck on me. That stuff is real. It's energy. Just like we can build the light, we can build the darkness. And we don't realize we're like toting this little bag along, right? So we're going to empty part of the bag today. Rub your hands together. Take a deep breath. Inhale deep. And exhale. Bring your thumbs into your sternum and roll your shoulders back. Take a moment as you press your hands together to be grateful for who